Welcome back to First Seasons, everybody. We are week 42 on this bad boy. And so I figured we'd start outside. It's a beautiful day. It is February 25th for anybody that cares about the time of year that we're doing all this work. But it's a beautiful day here in Vancouver. And any day where it's not raining in November, December, January, February, it's a great day. So anyways, we're out in the front yard here. Team Sprucehill is forming up. Basically, like, it's going to be a concrete fence. That's the design that the clients have gone with. So we're using cone ties, paper face plywood. The guys will get the form release on that plywood before we start closing things up and adding rebar, because you don't want to put form release on your rebar. That's a bad something to do. So anyways, this is going to go down here, down towards the house over there. And then over here, we've got the footing set here. And as I trip over the hose, this will go over yonder that way. So this will create like a really cool private sort of front yard for them. The impetus for this is so that they have a really, really nice dog run, so that their dogs can come out here and do the things that dogs do that you want them to do outside of the house and not in the house. And then behind me there, we've got the masons getting their work done. Black Diamond Masonry, love working with those guys. They're just getting some brick going on the outside of the house. Inside the house, I'm pretty sure we're gonna find a tile setter working away, possibly another mason. Let's go inside the house and check things out, shall we? Okay, so we are now inside the house, obviously. And behind me, we've got the guys from Black Diamond getting the masonry on the fireplace in here. So let's jump downstairs, or jump to the lower living room really, and have a look and see what these guys have done. I mean, how stunning does that look? And so Kyle, I don't know if you even noticed or not, but since we were here, the drywallers have finished up. The home has been cleaned up. We've got primer +1 probably on the walls, and the ceilings are totally finished. So the ceilings are primed, painted, done 100% of the way. So I'm sure Matt is making sure that these guys try not to touch the ceiling too much, but I can see we've already had an event up there that will have to get touched up eventually, but that's okay. I mean, what a stunning detail. I think this is just beautiful. Love, love, love it. Now that there's nothing in the way, you can actually see these 4 windows that have been added into this area here. And it's just a nice architectural detail in this space. I mean, obviously it allows some light to come in as well. And we frosted these windows because behind them is just a neighbor's house. So, I mean, you don't really want to just look into your neighbor's home, but this allows some nice natural light to come in here, and it really kind of adds a really neat bit of architectural detail to the space. So absolutely love these windows, love how everything's turned out. You know, the team has worked so hard to get all of these details dialed in and made to look amazing. Like, getting things to look as good as they look right now does not come easily, and I am so lucky to get to work with the people that I get to work with on a regular basis. Okay, so behind me, we've got 2 of our in-house interior finishing carpenters getting doors ready for install. So they're just getting everything sorted out and figured out. And right here, we've got a door already in. So it is open, and now it's closed. Now, why don't you come in here, Kyle, and I'll show the folks at home, what I look for as I step on the battery charger. So what you want to look for in a quality interior door installation are even reveals between the door and the jamb, right? This is the door, this stuff over here, this is the jamb, and jamb up there. Now, we have to more or less install how we get it in terms of how much height there is across the top there, unless we're gonna start taking these doors apart, which most of our clients do not want to pay for. But here you can see that we've got a nice even reveal between the jamb and the door, and that's consistent the whole way up. The other thing that you want to look for is that when you close the door, it doesn't bounce back open. If you have a door that when you close it, it kind of wants to bounce back open, it's hinge bound. And basically what's happening is this side of the hinge side of the door is actually kind of twisted out like this. So it's wanting to actually kick that door back out. Now, the other thing that I think is a great something to do on your home if you're doing a renovation, ball bearing hinges, right? You can see we've got ball bearings right here. And I like these ball bearing hinges because they rarely squeak. And so you got some pretty nice action on the door as well. It swings very, very, very evenly. Now, the final test is open your door at a 45-degree angle. It should stay still, right? If your door is installed correctly, when your door is open at a 45-degree angle, it stays still. If it keeps going open or closed, we call that go swing. And it just means that the door has, like this, the hinge side of the door has been installed leading into the room or leading out of the room, depending on which way the door wants to close. So those are some quick tips for you to look for when you are having somebody install doors for you, or if you're installing doors yourself. So when I was out here earlier, I was looking at what the guys were doing, and I'm like, why in the F are they taking the door off of the frame? Because like that is not how we typically hang a door. You leave it attached. But it turns out, and that's why you always ask questions before you go postal, this jamb is completely destroyed. I guess it got beat up during shipping or something. So the boys are just pulling things apart and they'll put it back together again. But for those of you DIYers and people in the comment section that come at me and say, oh, you guys, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Well, now you know why they were pulling the door off the jamb in this particular instance. Okay, so I'm standing inside the laundry room here, and you might be thinking like, well, why do I care, Eric? I'll show you. We have floor tile. Absolutely beautiful. 4 foot by 4 foot floor tile, ready to go, locked and loaded, looking magnificent. And if you come in here, you can see that we have our drain that is going to go underneath the washers, right? The room is kind of sort of sloped in this direction so that if the washers decide to spring a leak, there's a place for the water to go in the floor. That's the Sprucehill difference. Okay, so Patrick, our fearless tile setter, is here on site getting tile put down. We have the floor tile installed underneath the round board here. It has not yet been grouted. Don't want to hear about it in the comment section. But we have the tile going in the shower. It looks like he is currently in the dry fitting stage. So he is just dry fitting all of the tile pieces in here first. And at the back there, you can see that there's linear drains. I'm not gonna step on there because I don't wanna cause any damage or anything like that. But those are gonna be linear drains in the future there. And that pipe sticking out at the bottom there, 99% sure that's for the steam shower. Again, over here, this will be where the tub is gonna go. So that's the drain for the tub there, folks. Then you're gonna have your tub filler there, and this will be tiled. I don't recall how high up the tile goes, but yeah, I mean, locked and loaded, ready to go, looking amazing. Now, another detail that I wanna point out is you'll see that Patrick has stopped his tile midway through the door. Right? This is where the door would be otherwise hanging. We always want to make sure that our transition between flooring types happens underneath the door when the door is closed. You want the experience to always be that when this door is closed, you see what flooring is in that room, or if you're in this room, what flooring is in this room. Anytime you have, like, if you see your floor transition happening anywhere else, hack job, amateur hour, garbage, this is how you do it. That's the Sprucehill way. Active construction area in here, but you can see Patrick has got most of the tile work done in here. This particular curb, the clients decided to not do mitered corners for the curb. And so we're just chatting with Matt and Patrick. You know, if we're not gonna do mitered corners with the tile, my personal preference anyways is to use a piece of countertop material so that you pull an element from the cabinet to the shower. Like I like how that ties things together personally. Let me know what you think in the comments, of course. But anyways, so this is looking good. We've got our linear drain set in place and ready to go there. And again, nice, clean, easy to work in, looking great. Really excited to see how this continues to come together. And look at this generous niche as well. It's gonna be really cool to see this all come together. If you haven't already subscribed, do that. Hit that like button, and if you're feeling really energetic, the notification bell. So here we are in the basement now, and it is just cleaned up. The painters have finished doing their painting work. Everything is kind of sort of waiting for our finishers to come downstairs and start installing the doors down here. So they're just gonna get everything done upstairs and then work their way downstairs. So, I mean, I would say probably by the end of day tomorrow, the team will have all of these doors hung, and that'll be done. Again, we talk about sometimes whether or not it makes more sense to do the door install before or after flooring. I personally like doing it before flooring because it's much faster, quicker, and easier to get done. The obvious disadvantage is then you're relying on the flooring installer to do a nice job of undercutting the jamb. Love to hear what you think is the right order of operations in the comments. Jason is just going to show us how to remove this return air grill, and you can see he is just using a very small pry bar to just flip open some clips that hold the grill in place. And so there's 8 of them, which once the grill is removed, you can see right here. And so these guys are what hold the grill in place, and you just have to release them, and that's what holds it in. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple, clean solution, and sure does look good, that's for sure. Okay, so we are now in the backyard, and we've got a ton of excavation work going back here because we're going to be redoing this driveway, redoing this grass area here. So we've got our friends from Koba Excavating on site getting their work done, and obviously we've got some protection up to make sure that the doors that are already installed don't get damaged. I'm assuming that that is just missing protection in the short term here, but it will be protected when they start doing more work around here again. So again, coming up this side of the house here, Kyle, we are replacing the existing clay drain tile with new perforated PVC drain tile. So that's why all of this work is taking place, is to replace as much of the drain tile as we possibly can to make sure that the water makes its way from the front yard to the backyard. Very important. That's a wrap on today, everybody. Listen, Sprucehill are experts when it comes to large-scale renovations, major transformations. There is nobody better in the Lower Mainland than Sprucehill to take care of your home renovation. Please, we'd love to hear from you. Please call us here, find us on the web. We would love to connect with you and be your partners in success. In the meantime, as I've already said, we sure would appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with friends, and make sure you stay awesome. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a great one. Bye now.